Hey, it's Michael Kosta. This is the Tennis Anyone podcast. How you doing? Monday, August 12th. I am coming off a busy week. How was your week? Busy? Did you even remember that there was an ATP 1000 Montreal happening and WTA 1000 Toronto? I mean, it came across my Instagram and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. There's other tennis tournaments." It was all Olympics, track and field, so fun to watch, so much better than swimming. Swimming is just watching the top of somebody's head. You don't even know who it is. It's always a white guy. These swimmers, they're trying so hard for the media's trying so hard to make them into stars. They're not. They're weirdos. Swimmers are weirdos. We were friends with the swim team in college, and the women's swim team was fun. We liked them. They were weirdos, but they were fun. Women's soccer was fun too. That's kind of who we hung out with the most. But I remember the women's swim team I'm not exactly sure how I know this, but just go with me that I'm not a creep. They would, even after showering and even after like putting on normal clothes, anytime that they licked their hand or part of their skin, it would smell like chlorine. And I'm not licking swimmers' hands, okay? Even though back then you were allowed to do such a thing. No, but it's just chlorine is just on them at all times. And they're weird, and their hair is weird, and their hair is wet. And the men swimmers are weird, and their bodies are insane. Then they start talking, and you're like, oh, I like track and field. The ego that is required to be successful in track and field is so good for TV. And yeah, you got an ego. Yeah, because I just trained 8 years for 8 seconds, 9 seconds. And that fucking Norwegian guy who looks like Dr. Evil, who's really good at long distance running. I mean, I was screaming at him to lose. Noah Lyles running with, I saw some disinformation. Noah Lyles in the 100 meter that he won came running out, jumping up and down when they announced him. But then I saw someone on TikTok say, oh, really? You had COVID? And this was your intro when you ran out? And it was him at the 100. They mixed it up either on purpose or on accident. And it was a beautiful reminder of how mis and disinformation spreads. Also, we'll get into mis and disinformation because I'm going to go through my hosting week last week at The Daily Show. Unbelievable week. So much support, crazy good ratings, so much action. I was in Rochester this weekend. Everybody had seen the week. I don't know why some weeks click and some weeks don't. It's probably the stories. It's probably my comfortability at the desk. Anyways, Jon Stewart was sick on Monday. That's part of it also. So thankfully, The Daily Show said, Kosta, just take it. You're doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just take it. It's not lost on me that could have been a Monday, could have been a rerun. They could have grabbed other hosts to do that day. They called me up, and I'm so thankful they did because just getting the reps is so nice, ladies and gentlemen. Reps, match play. I need match toughness. You know what I mean? I need matches. And that's what that sitting at the desk with a fun graphic over your shoulder, with writers writing for you, with an all-day affair, tackling and deconstructing the news. That's what I love doing, and you need to practice it. Practice? So I was in Rochester this weekend and had a great time. Comedy at the Carlson. Elle Orlando was opening up for me. Very funny. Check her out. Todd Youngman was the host. Is his last name Youngman? Todd. Very funny. I've seen him. We worked together many, many years ago. He gets funnier every time. That club gets better every time I go. When I first started going to comedy at the Carlson, it was a good club. It was fun. I liked the owner, Mark. I liked the audiences, but every time I go, they just pick it up a little bit more. This time the crowds were packed. There's all these servers in there. It's like, holy shit, everyone's ordering food and drinks and having fun. And we'd say, hey, we're taking pictures after. There'd be a line back into the showroom of people wanting to take pictures. So thank you to everybody who showed up to Rochester. Please support that comedy club. Had a lot of fun performing. We talked tennis. We talked Finger Lakes. There's 11 Finger Lakes. Let me see if I can name all the 11 Finger Lakes. You ready? From the west to the east. Most people in Rochester said there was at least 5 to 7 Finger Lakes. They had no idea there was 11. I even made an acronym so I can remember from west to east. Charlie Hammond couldn't help carefully kissing Seneca. Carol occasionally sexed Otisco. Ready? Let's go through them. Charlie Hammond, Conetius, Hemlock Lakes, couldn't help. Canadice, Honeyoy Lake, carefully kissing. Canandaigua Lake, kissing Kuka Lake, Seneca Lake. Carol, occasionally. Carol is Cayuga Lake. Occasionally is Owasco Lake. Sext is Skinny Atlas Lake. Otisco is Otisco Lake. I don't know. I was trying to find something that was like congratulations. There's 11 Finger Lakes. There should be 10 or 5. And they're beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful region of the United States. I'm not going to turn this into a sad moment that many of them have blue and green algae blooms because agricultural runoff, because we over-fertilize our agriculture, because global warming is making there more rain, therefore the fertilizer gets washed off faster, so they have to over-fertilize. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to get into how beautiful the Finger Lake region is. It's a secret. Skinny Atlas Lake. Oh my God. You can see to the bottom of it. Absolutely beautiful. I swam in Cayuga Lake. I jumped in Lake Ontario, which is not a Finger Lake. It's a great lake. There's no swimming signs everywhere. And this is what fucking pisses me off about government. You ready? There's no swimming signs. No swimming, no swimming, no swimming, no swimming. Swimming prohibited, swimming prohibited. But there's no reason why. 5 T's. Take the time to teach. That's rule number 1 with parents. No, you can't go on the dock by yourself. Why not? Because you could slip and fall. You don't know how to swim because you're not being supervised, because it's dangerous to you. So I don't know why it says no swimming. I don't know why. And did I ask locals? Hell yeah, I asked locals. Anybody that hangs with Kosta on the road is like, dude, will you stop talking to locals? I asked 2 different people and they said, dude, it's just because there's not a lifeguard around. Get in there. So then I got in there. It's cold. Lake Ontario is cold. Cayuga Lake, nice. Lake Ontario is cold. Felt great after my Orange Theory. And swimming around, shallow bottom for a long way out. That's how Lake Michigan is too, and depending on where you are. But I mean, you could really walk out there. You can walk out so far that it's creepy. Looks like you're standing in the middle of the ocean. So then I told some people in Rochester, and they're kind of like me. They're like lake snobs. They're like, ooh, don't go in Lake Ontario. Don't go in Lake Ontario. That's where all the fertilizer goes for the blooms. Anyways, there wasn't blooms when I was there. If you don't know what an algae bloom is, look it up. Most likely, there's beautiful freshwater lakes in the region that you live that are currently unswimmable, dangerous, and toxic because we over-fertilize our agriculture, and then the fertilizer gets washed into our watershed and dumps into a large body of water, often our lakes, and then becomes... I mean, like, how stupid of a fucking species are we when we poison our water? We can't even continue if we don't have it. Here goes for a sip of water. Anyways, great time in Rochester. Love the Finger Lakes. In a dream world, I would have some, little lake house on one of those Finger Lakes and pop around the wineries and different motorcycles and have my family in a sidecar. So really fun up there. Good job to Rochester's Comedy Club, the Comedy at the Carlson. Great spot. Have a lot of fun. They do a good job. Keep supporting it. Now, I have to admit that Thursday evening came around, and after 4 days of hosting the Daily Show, I was like, whew, I am ready to sleep in and unwind and just calm down because you're on high alert. I mean, I'm thankful tennis has taught me how to keep it going. Hey, you won your match today. You got a match tomorrow. Hey, you won your match today. You got a match tomorrow. So thankful for the sport that I played, which was tennis, that you don't really process and evaluate until it's all done. And that takes time. And it reminded me so much of tennis, dude, hosting the Daily Show this week and I've done it. This is my, 5th or 6th week, 7th week. For whatever reason, it just started the rhythm started to happen more this week. And when I would wake up, I would go, holy shit, this feels like tennis. This feels like I played a match yesterday and I won. And I'm lucky enough to be in the round of 32. Now I'm in the round of 16. And you just keep going. And you just keep getting better every day. And then Thursday night, it stopped. So I took a deep breath Thursday night and I said, oh, yes, I just get to chill out a little bit tomorrow, regroup, cut some clips. Oh, no, you got to go to Rochester. Got in the car, went to Rochester, had a great time. Now it's Monday. I didn't see the closing ceremonies. I heard that Tom Cruise was involved. I'm glad I missed it. And I'm just kind of processing it all. When it comes to tennis results, we have Montreal, ATP 1000. We got Andrei Rublev, a 5 seed, versus Popyrin in the final. Is that final or semi? No, that's final. The semis were Rublev, Arnaldi, Popyrin, Kosta. If you're saying who the fuck played this thing, great question. The first seed was Yannick Sinner, who lost to Rublev 6-2 in the third. And the 2 seed is Sasha Zverev. So it's not like these are clowns. Sasha Zverev is top 5 in the world. Well, I'm going to go through the rankings too. And then Rublev let's go to the rankings right now. Let's just do that shit. ATP rankings. Booyakasha. Sinner, Djokovic, even though he just won the Olympics, which doesn't give ATP points or money for that matter. You only get paid by your federation, which I find interesting. Yannick Sinner 1, Novak Djokovic 2, Carlos Alcaraz 3, Sasha Zverev 4, Daniil Medvedev 5, Andrei Rublev 6, Hubert Urkash 7, Casper Ruud 8, Grigor Dimitrov 9, Alex de Minaur 10. So look, Montreal had number 1 player in the world, and it had the number 4 player in the world. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Women. Right now, we have an all-American final, which makes me happy. You're never going to guess. Jessie Pegula and Amanda Anisimova, the tennis player that during Warm and Fuzzy Tennis Channel, it was like we were best friends hanging out. What a nice, warm energy. Jessie, too, was great. But Anisimova, she's been gone. Her Instagram is just like her at the pool. She hasn't even been playing. Now she's in the final? I love that. Let's see who the number 1 seed was. Number 1 seed was Coco Gauff, who's not number 1 in the world. Iga Swiatek's not number 1 in the world. And the number 2 seed is Sabalenka, who ended up losing to Anisimova. What was the score there? Anisimova was 132 in the world. Oh, that makes me happy. I always just assume these players like burn out and they're just like, screw this, I hate this sport. Happy that she's back. Anisimova beat Sabalenka 4-2 in the quarterfinals, then beat Navarro 6-2 in the third. Who did Coco lose to? Coco lost to, love that both of these websites are incredibly different. Coco lost to Schneider 4-1. 24 in the world. Diana Schneider.
Hi, my name is Diana Schneider. Diana Schneider.
Diana Schneider. I don't know why it's so much louder when... What frickin' country she's from? Must be Russia because they're not showing. She's got a current career 130 wins, 58 losses, 1.2 million prize money, 3 career singles titles, 23 is her highest ranking. She's 24. Can I just say I never heard of her? She's 20 years old. She's 20 and she already has 1.2 million and she's already played 200 matches on tour. Wow. And a lot of the pictures are her wearing a do-rag. Do-rag. Let's go to the WTA rankings and enjoy ourselves with rankings. Iga Swiatek, 1. Rybakina, 2. Sabalenka, 3. Paolini, the Italian, 4. Coco Gauff, 5. Danielle Collins, 6. Danielle Collins is injured. She pulled out, and I want to read to you her Instagram because I thought it was well stated. And, you know, it might be media training, might be her. Do I'm gonna sign in. Just don't let me. I do love Danielle Collins. I love that she is not everyone's best friend. I love that she crushes the ball. This is from Danielle Collins, who I've been trying to get on the pod, and I guaranteed you I would get Barbara Krejcikova on the pod, and I will eventually. And Danielle, if you're a listener, would love to get you on the pod. Little update for all who have been reaching out and checking in on me since my injury at the Olympics. After having a heat stroke in Paris, Jesus, I strained my rectus abdominis. I had a similar injury to this area almost 4 years ago that kept me from competing for over 4 months. Interesting the information she chooses to share. Obviously, I don't want to have a repeat of that as I'm approaching the end of my career. Remember, she said this is her last year. It has been important to try and rest and recover so that this can heal as quickly as possible. I was really bummed to pull out of Toronto and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's next, everybody. My hope is to return to competition in Monterrey, Mexican emoji flag. I'm hoping to continue with my season after the U.S. Open and continue to try and go after the goals I set for myself this year. Tennis ball emoji, no mention of those goals. Thank you to everyone who's reached out over the last few weeks and all the love and support as always. Why keep going? I mean, if you know this is your last year and the U.S. Open is the last tournament, well, it's not. There's the year end. Maybe she really wants to make that year end. And getting back to the rankings, she could make the year end. Number 6 in the world, Krejcikova 7, Zhang 8. I say her name so wrong. I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is King Wan Zhen.
King Wang Zhen.
King Wan Zhen.
King Wan Zhen, she says. Oh, I lost the rankings. That wasn't good. WTA, when I clicked King Wan Zhen, it didn't take me to a new tab. King Wan Zhen 8, Yelena Ostapenko 9, just so sneaky. Ostapenko always in the top 10 somehow, and then Daria Kasatkina 10, Emma Navarro 11. Fun, right? I always love checking the top 10 because there's names in there that you're like, what? Huh? I forgot about that. So I would say the story of the women is definitely Danielle Collins because such an interesting character, had a great start to the season, injured, has announced this is the end of her career. Krejcikova kind of came out of nowhere, even though she's top 10 and one of the world's best doubles players to win Wimbledon. Iga Swiatek is still hands down number 1. I mean, like double the points of number 2, Elena Rybakina. Paolini. I mean, so you got some fun names here. It's going to be a fun U.S. Open. The men's side, obviously what's fun is that Novak Djokovic just won the gold medal, very emotional, and now is going to head to the U.S. Open. And we got some serious contenders. We have Jannik Sinner, who's won a Grand Slam. We have Carlos Alcaraz, who won the next 2 Grand Slams. We have Novak Djokovic, who won the gold medal. We have Sasha Zverev, who is still knocking at the door. Fun. It's going to be really fun to see how this all pans out. Okay, so Cincinnati's next. That's next week. What else did I want to talk to you about? Of course, I want to talk about Donald Trump. It's all so hilarious. He's so pissy-fitty right now because things aren't going his way. But I have a message to the Democrats. It feels good because you figured some shit out and you made a change that appears to have been positive. And quote unquote, you're leading now in the polls, whatever the hell that means, or at least you're leading in the momentum. Remember that Donald Trump is a competitor. Remember that he doesn't like losing. Remember that he beat your ass before. So stop sitting around and patting yourself on the back that you did a good thing in that you pushed out Joe Biden for a more energetic and passion-based candidate. But remember, he's coming. He's going to figure you out. Donald Trump hates to lose. He is a competitor. The video game that he was playing against Joe Biden, he was winning easily. And then you guys made some changes for the better of your party and possibly the country. And he's pissed and he's acting like it. He's being a baby, talking about the crowd size, his fucking press conference. It's embarrassment. Anybody that watches the press conferences and says, that's it, that's what I want to vote for, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not saying I listen to Kamala or Joe Biden and get all energized, but at least they're in this world of I don't want to get into it. But my message to the Democrats is he will figure some shit out. He will find the weakness and he will exploit it. They're not doing a good job right now. Every time JD Vance opens his mouth, it's an embarrassment to him and the party. Trump looks like a dumbass that he basically picked Donald Trump Jr. to be his running mate, whereas Kamala realized she needed big time to balance out her ticket and picked salt of the earth former high school football coach, tater tot recipe winner, governor of Midwest Minnesota, Tim Walz, who posts videos of him and his daughter at the state fair. JD Vance, every time he talks, it's like, oh man, it's like a real deep-seated anger, dissatisfaction, bitterness. And it just it doesn't resonate with me. Maybe it resonates with real Americans who are frustrated that AI is taking their jobs or that the Wall Street doesn't care about them. Maybe that's why he's in this position. But man, it does not resonate with me. My message to Kamala and the Democrats is I hope you're thinking a few steps ahead of yourself because he'll figure some shit out. Make a decision tree. If Trump keeps going on this path, then we'll do this. If he decides to pivot and push out JD Vance and get a new VP, we'll do this. If Trump decides to go super dirty and hire Russia to hack into then we'll do this. Make a decision tree. Be smart about it. Don't just be stoked because there's some energy now. Okay? Rafael Nadal, I plan on being uncomfortable. I plan on being uncertain. That's what I practice. I practice knowing I will be uncomfortable. I practice all those scenarios, and then I also practice for scenarios that I haven't even thought of yet. Do that, Democrats. I hope they are. I hope they are. I also hope as a nation, we can fix our presidential campaigns to like 100 days. I know we're never gonna, but why not? Why not? If one of the positives that could happen if Kamala Harris wins is that both parties might realize that it's okay to not have your candidate picked until 100 days, which I guess is probably how it used to be because that's what the convention was all about. But I do think there is such thing as fatigue. Absolutely. So, Dems, I hope you're thinking ahead because you know the Republicans are really having some meetings, thinking about it. They're probably going to get dirty if they haven't gotten dirty yet. I hope you are thinking about what happens if they start hacking into shit or partnering up with people that you don't want them to partner up with. Or they got tricks up their sleeve. And even if they don't, prepare for them too. Right? The good news about moving Vice President Harris up to presidential candidate is that someone like this has already been vetted. She doesn't have any skeletons in the closet. It would have come out already as a senator, as an attorney general, as a prosecutor, as a vice president. So that's good. That's part of the reason why it was just a nice bump up. We already did all this shit. You got to think Tim Walz, never on this stage, but as a governor of Minnesota, if he really had some dirty shit, it would have already come out. Anyways, let's go through my hosting week last week, the guests, because I think one of the hardest parts of hosting the Daily Show, but also one of the most valuable in particular for viewers and listeners like yourself, is you can go now and listen to these interviews on YouTube, and they're all fucking interesting people. Roxane Gay was Monday, a black feminist who wrote a 44-page essay about owning a gun and about the stand your ground law. And in her words, how it doesn't apply to black people. There's a lot of examples in her essay of black people that used stand your ground. Stand your ground famously is that George Zimmerman, when was it Trayvon Martin? He shot, he claimed that a young black man who was wearing a hoodie was threatening him, and he shot and killed him. And in the state of Florida, you're allowed to do that, called stand your ground. And probably your state has stand your ground too. I think it's like 38 states have it. Now you do have to prove that your life was in danger. So you can't just shoot somebody and say, I'm standing my ground. Okay, everybody? But also, obviously, this protects violent acts. It's fun, me, straight white male, sitting next to Roxane Gay, black feminist, married to a woman, owns a gun. We couldn't be more different. And we sit down, and I hope people are picking up on this. It's according to the YouTube comments, they are. But this, in my opinion, is what good TV is. It's two people who would not be sitting down chatting it up at a party, but through the power of media and booking and curiosity and interest on both sides. And by the way, thank you, Roxane Gay. You were supposed to sit down with Jon Stewart. I'm sure when the call came in that morning that you were going to sit with your boy, Michael Kosta, you were like, what? Thank you for continuing to chat with us. I think it was of service to you and your essay, but, it was a change in plans. And this is what good TV is. This is what good conversation is, when two different types of people are having conversations and you get to be a part of it and you get to listen to it. And I'm going to ask dumb questions. You want to know why? Because that's what you're thinking too. I love watching interviews where it's like two people that you wouldn't expect to be together. Tuesday was Ed Helms, former Daily Show correspondent from The Office, from The Hangover. He's got a cool podcast out about J. Edgar Hoover and how this hero that we used to have was kind of a dirty slimeball running the FBI. Very interesting, fun podcast. Great to chat with him. Funny dude, easy to chat with. You just pick up funny. You know what I mean? You pick up funny. You just know he's funny. You just talk to him and you go, oh yeah, he's naturally, casually funny. Wednesday, Barbara McQuaid, a law professor at University of Michigan who wrote a book about mis and disinformation. And tell me, that's a very fascinating interview because she starts talking about the rules of an authoritarian politician. Declinism. Just every time you talk, mention how this country is going to shit, is declining in value. Sound familiar? Tribe over truth. What happens eventually is the people just want to be a part of the tribe and they don't care about the truth. Sound familiar? Authoritarian leaders are every man and also the strong man. Oh, he's just like us. He speaks to us. Drain the swamp. He's one of us. Oh, he's a billionaire. He's the strong man. He's the alpha. Well, which one fucking is it? Is he just like us or is he a billionaire? Man, when I go to Trump rallies, it is crazy how often you hear them say, he gets us. He's just like us. He's like us. He's a man of the people. And then also like, well, he doesn't have to follow the rules of the DOJ. He's a billionaire. He's a hero. He's an alpha. Crazy. Her book was not written about Donald Trump. It was written about mis and disinformation. And you'll see in the interview, she didn't want to talk. She did say that no one is doing more of this now than a certain section of the Republican Party. But anybody can do this shit. We talked about nostalgia, how they use nostalgia against us. I brought up how I thought Tim Walz was a nostalgic pick. He reminds us of all of our high school friends' dad. Doesn't mean he's not qualified. Doesn't mean he is qualified. But he's got a nostalgic face. And it's really interesting when you read this book because you start to see the really common uses of mis and disinformation. Disinformation, of course, is just lies. People who lie on purpose or share information that isn't true on purpose. Misinformation is the dirty cousin. It's when people think they're getting the truth, but it's been convoluted. Like when someone posted that TikTok of, oh, you think this guy really has COVID, when this was his introduction? And then they pulled a clip of his introduction from 5 days ago. That could be disinformation if they did it on purpose, but me then passing on the rumor that this guy doesn't really have COVID because look at his introduction, that would be misinformation. I'm not intending to deceive you. Basically, what I got out of Barbara McQuade and the disinformation is that we need to be more media literate, and we need to teach media literacy. We need to teach our kids to be skeptical of information and or check information. Factcheck.org is a good place to start. But yes, me and you need to be teaching our children how to comprehend, check, find out about information. I mean, essentially, isn't that what the fucking media is supposed to do? Isn't that what like journalistic integrity is? Checking sources? I mean, I'm saying that as like, that is how we got the media in the first place, is those people do their homework, hopefully. And that's what all like the journalism major is. So why is it dying? If anything, it should be thriving. I guess it is. Thursday was Hannah Berner, comedian, silly conversation, nice person, former tennis player, University of Wisconsin, Madison. We showed pictures of her playing tennis in Madison, which was fun. We talked tennis. We took questions after the interview. She has a special out. The special is, and I asked her this, is it for the 44-year-old male? I don't think so, but you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. There's a lot of wooing. Woo! There's a lot of that. But we talked about, I said, am I allowed to watch this as a man? And she said, do you want to hear how women talk in the locker room? Talking about riding that D? Well, then you need to watch the special. And she's right. It's funny. Ladies and gentlemen, all of those are available on YouTube. Just search Michael Kosta, Roxanne Gay, Ed Helms, Barbara McQuade, Hannah Berner. They're all there. So much time and energy goes into the interviews at The Daily Show, and it's often something that gets overlooked because it's the third act. People wanted to see the jokes. They wanted to see the news. But I mean, really, 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 one of the coolest parts of hosting is I spoke to such different people. Black feminist gun owner, white comedian doing a podcast, white female who's a professor who wrote a book on misinformation, white female comedian who's probably never read a book. Fun. It's fun to talk to this shit. It's one of my favorite parts. It's also the thing that makes me the nervous hosting Daily Show is I know that this is a real person who spent time and energy on this subject, and I want to treat him with the utmost respect, and I hope that comes across. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tennis Anyone podcast. Did you enjoy this? Share it. We're posting it on YouTube now. So check us out on YouTube. And trying to grow my YouTube. God damn, is that hard? I don't know why. If you got help, YouTube help, send it my way. Next road dates are Portland and Seattle in September. We'll be at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago next week. Thank you for listening to the Tennis Anyone podcast. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're happy. Drink lots of water. Donate blood. Register to vote. Serve on a jury. Get to know the Finger Lake region of the United States. I will speak now directly to our agricultural industry. I will pay more for food if you use less chemicals and fertilizer. Do you hear me? Okay? And I got other people like me. Game, set, match. Kosta. Thanks for listening. Much love.